Here we go. Genevieve.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending the webinar. Many of you are longtime presenters at NBOA. You certainly know a lot about us and about annual meeting and how it runs. But for those of you that may be new, on this slide is just a brief infographic, just talking about the membership, kind of who we are, what our what our demographics are, so that for those of you that are new and you want to get a sense of the profession and kind of who at NBOA would be even attending, it's just a nice, fun, easy visual way for you to get a sense of who the membership is. We are closing in on 1,100 U.S. schools, and so the membership has grown over time, and we're excited about that, and we're excited what that means for annual meeting as well. So Jen, you want to go to the next slide?
It's a little slow on my side, sorry.
No, that happens. So in talking about who actually is coming to annual meeting, so we figure we're going to probably have about 1,000 attendees. They will be the business officers and CFOs. They will be folks from IT, facilities. There'll be controllers there. There'll be HR. There are tracks for a lot of these individuals coming. So there may be sessions and areas where they're going to really be focused. But we should certainly have probably around 1,000. We are already better than 850. And so Jennifer will kind of address some of those logistics. So if there are some things that you haven't done, like make a hotel and such, she'll talk to you a little bit later about that, but I suggest you be thinking about that sooner than later. It is a very, very collegial event. One of the things I love about business officers in independent schools is we're all willing to share. We're more than willing to talk about what we're doing either at our own schools or what you have to let other folks know and learn from either pitfalls and successes. And you don't see a lot of that in some of the other avenues of the business office, especially in admissions and sometimes development. They don't have kind of that cross-school kind of industry-wide relationships that we do, and so we're very excited about that. And obviously everything that we want to put out there is stuff that folks need at a school, whether you are, keep in mind when you're doing your sessions, you'll know that there could be schools there that have less than 100 kids. They could be a K-8 with 90 students with a very simple plant and a relatively not as complex school as somebody that may be a K-12 with 3 campuses and have 1,600 kids like the Bowl School in Jacksonville, Florida. It doesn't mean that some of the issues aren't exactly the same. Most of this is all very scalable, but obviously you could have a wide variety of individuals in your room representing a breadth of schools. You want to go ahead and change slides?
Sorry, it's just very slow and clicking down. Okay, this is my slide. What is a concurrent session? So we have approximately 50 sessions during our 3 days of the annual meeting. Our concurrent sessions start on Monday. They run all the way through till 4:30. Then they pick up again on Tuesday, and then we wrap up on Wednesday at noon. So during that time, we have about 7 slots. So it's 50 sessions during the 3 days of annual meeting. Each one of the rooms fits approximately 100 to 125 participants in each room. Some are a little bit bigger, and they could fit a little bit more, but for the most part, that's how they're broken out. Each session, concurrent session A, B, through all the way through F, have 6 to 8 sessions at the same time. Now remember, as Genevieve said on the earlier slide, there will be probably about 900 to 1,000 people moving throughout and needing to go to all of these sessions. So that is why there are 8 sessions to fit approximately the 100 participants into each. Right now, all of the concurrent sessions are 75 minutes long, so you'll have 75 minutes to present. So I think the best bet for you would be to speak for about 1 hour and then offer up 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A. But of course, use it to however you'd like to use that time is fine with us. And just so you also know, we'll be providing CPE for those of you who are not accountants. What this is continuing professional education credits for accountants that is granted through NASBA. It's very important for people to get live as well as online CPE, and this really fulfills a lot of those live classes that they need for their accreditation. Along the same lines, we're also providing HRCI, and this is for all of the human resource folks out there who also need the same type of credit as I just described for accountants. So next slide, we have some technology tips that we just want to pass on to you. A screen and a projector will be available, as well as a lavalier. We are speaking to a group of 100, so we just want everyone to be able to be heard. So we'll have those in all of the rooms. You must bring a laptop.
I know I'm interrupting here for a sec, but for those of you that, I know some folks like to use a lavalier, some don't, some like to use a microphone, and I would just tell you, there are some of those rooms that might be okay without a lavalier if you have a fairly booming voice and you can carry that for 75 minutes. But I would tell you that when in doubt, I would go ahead and wear it regardless. If nothing else, you don't feel like you're straining your voice for as long as you are, because I'm one of those folks that in general prefers probably not to use it, but I've learned my lesson a couple times where, you know, if it's later in the day or if the room's a little bigger or there's noise around, it actually enhances the participant's experience, and so that I don't feel like I'm kind of trying to strain as much as I should be. So it just makes it easier if you use it. And we'll help. If you have any questions or any issue with it, just let us know.
No, thank you. The first-hand experience is definitely helpful. So the other thing is you must bring your own laptop, either a PC or a Mac, and please be sure to bring all cords and adapters. I know both of these mechanisms use a lot of different cords, and we might not have them on hand, so please be sure to bring everything that you need to run your laptop using the screen and projector that will be in the room. The other thing is, last week you should have received the official 2015 annual meeting PowerPoint template that was provided to you. The reason for this and the reason why it's important is, as I had mentioned earlier, we're doing CPE and HRCI, and we're really trying to cut back on paper. So what we're doing this year is we're using a code, and that will show all of the participants at the end, and then that will allow us to know that they actually attended by sitting through the entire presentation and entering the code. If you would like to add your presentation in between and not stick with the template, but just please be sure to use our slides for the opening and then in the closing, just to give it a more uniform look. That would be really appreciated. The other thing is that we do, go ahead.
So I was saying the code, just so you guys know, it's not the same. I mean, every session has an individual code. So whatever you were sent for the template, you have to use yours because that code is specific to you and your session.
If you have any questions, just feel free to contact me, and I will either resend your template or we can work it through. Moving on, we have a Wi-Fi internet is available throughout the hotel, and you can use it. Maybe if you just have to hop onto a website to show someone. But on the live video streaming, if you're doing any type of that, it's really not highly recommended, just because we really don't want you to be able to count on it if other things are going on. I mean, it is in a hotel. It does have a really wide broadband technology and stuff, but we just want to be sure for that your presentation is flawless, and we don't want Wi-Fi to be part of it that causes any issues. If you must and you desperately need it, please send me an email and we'll work something out for you. And then video sound amplification is not available. As we had mentioned earlier, these are getting to be much bigger rooms and bigger things, and little speakers aren't going to cut it and things like that. So again, if you have something that you need to show, let's see what we can do, and we'll definitely work it out. Okay. The next one is we just have some presenting tips. Every single break is about 30 minutes. People will obviously be moving out of the room and moving into the room. So, we have a session that wraps up at 10. The next one starts at 10:30. I would try to be and arrive in the room as early as possible, 20 to 30 minutes into your meeting room. We're just getting done with assigning all of the rooms. I will definitely be sending out an email letting you know exactly what time you're on and where you'll be presenting. So just look for an email for that. We're going to try for NBOA staff or a volunteer to help you in the rooms. If they might not be there the entire time, we're moving throughout the 6 and 8 sessions. So just be patient, and then we'll help you with your setup. And if there's a person there to introduce, we'll do that as well. Of course, we encourage interaction with the audience. As I had mentioned a little bit earlier, 15 minutes for Q&A is usually what we suggest. And just really try to wrap up and end on time so the next group can get into your room, and then a lot of the attendees can move on to their next session. And of course, have fun. That's why you're here. And then we kind of covered this already, but this is the slide again for the accreditation for CPE and HRCI. You could please use the template because Genevieve mentioned it is a specific and unique code to each one of the sessions. And then if you could just leave this slide up at the end of the session so that everyone could be sure to get it. And then just remind the audience also to complete your session evaluation. All of that is done on the app. We've noticed that it's a lot easier for someone to say how great your session was right after the fact than to wait the week to get their responses. So, and I'm going to pass over to Melissa for more presenting tips.
Yeah, just some presenting tips for your PowerPoint. Images, big, bright, vibrant images are highly encouraged. It will keep people engaged in what you're saying. Any examples or pros and cons or do's and don'ts that you can offer on your topic will be very much appreciated. That's why people are attending your session, to learn from your experience. Also, on that note, checklists, steps to success, etc. Also, participants really value taking the handouts and the slides home with them that you present. So if you could email me a PDF version of any of your handouts or slides by January 30th, we will put them on our website and on the mobile app, which I'll talk about in a second, so people can download them and use them at home. So the app I was talking about is now available for you in the App Store and the Google Play Store. You can find it by searching NBOA 2015 or just NBOA Annual Meeting. Download it. It has all the sessions and descriptions, times for events, anything you could ever ask is in the app. So download it when you get a chance. Like I said in the last slide, try to get me those handouts and presentations by January 30th so they can be preloaded in the app when you get there. Also want to remind you to promote your session by using the hashtag for the event, hashtag NBOA 2015. Just write a promotion about your session, a little bit what it's about, or encourage people to attend, and then include that hashtag at the end so we can collect them and easily share them with our attendees. And if you have any other questions about social media or the app, you can contact me at the email on the screen. And we're actually at mboa.org now, not mboa.net. And these are just, some extra resources. Go ahead, Genevieve.
No, that's fine. I was just saying, obviously, you can say that Melissa knows all things mobile app and tweeting and all of the social media aspect of the meeting, which has grown considerably. You know, for those of us that have been around a long time, this, this was never even a part of it less than probably 5 or 6 years ago, and now look where we are. So I will say this for the app. Attendees really like being able to, if you reference something into one of your presentations, a lot of them love to be able then to look on that session immediately, because what happens is you pick the session and it shows you any of the documents that are attached to it. So a lot of folks use a tablet now, especially in sessions if they want to take notes or whatnot, and it gives them immediate access, and so they really appreciate that. I know some of you may have taken that deep breath when you're like, oh, January 30th, really? Really? And the reality for us is that, on the back end, there's a lot that has to happen to make all of this seamless by the time we get there. And we are on site. We have to be on site ready to go as a staff by February 20. So the more that we get done ahead of time, the better it is. And because once we get there, we don't necessarily have as much time to be able to do that. So anywhere by January 30th would be really appreciated. For resources, if you're looking for resources or what other if there have been topics that we've covered these in the past, you want to see somebody else's presentation, please feel free to go to not only the app will be the resources for the current meeting. Melissa, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we'll be loading up all of the attendees. They will be on there, so if you're looking to see if somebody in particular might be there, you'll eventually be able to. I think we normally put it as a PDF, but Make sure you load yourself on there. You will have to go in and do that, and Melissa's really great, but if you've done that before, you go in, you put yourself in, you can put your own picture in, and then you kind of publish it so people can see that you're there. That's not something we can do for you. You have to do that yourself. Then on the hotel website, and some presentation ideas are both there. Jennifer, are we going to talk a little bit about the hotel here shortly? I think that's next.
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and move the slide, because it is kind of getting to be a big deal right now.
Okay, so I'm not sure if it's on here, but I will discuss it. So the hotel has been open since October 1st, and we're now at like about 99.9 capacity at the Westin. We have about 700 rooms there. Additionally, right over the bridge, right down the street, is the Renaissance Hotel, where we have an additional rooms there. It's called our Overflow Hotel. So if you have not yet made any hotel reservations or know of anyone in your company who has not yet made them or in your organization, please feel free to go to the website, click on the book online, and that will bring you to the Renaissance's page. They have rooms available at the NBOA room rate of $189 up until January 30th. They might still be available after the fact, but at that point is sort of where they said, okay, we're 3 weeks out, and we might start selling to others who might need space. So the word to the wise, please get your hotel room. For this, context ahead of time. You obviously feel free to contact any of the NBOA staff, but this is sort of just covers what everyone on staff is doing. I'm mostly, Jennifer, in charge of registration issues, times, and rooms, and things like that. Obviously, for any app assistance, social media, any help with that, please contact Melissa. If you're having issues with your content ideas or any kind of general assistance from the professional development content area, please feel free to contact Genevieve. And then I'm not on the call today, but obviously helpful is our friend Chris Kolaski, who does all of our sponsorship and corporate relations and is running the exhibit hall. So that is on that page. Next, on-site assistance, as Genevieve had mentioned earlier, the entire staff will be arriving on Friday, February 20th. So if you need anything after that, please feel free to contact our cell phone because we will be on-site in Boston. If you need us before that, use our office numbers. If you get there and you happen to not have our information, you could go to the registration desk. It will be in the Commonwealth foyer, also known as the concourse level of the hotel. Signs will be everywhere. You will find it. And you just ask anyone at the staff at the desk, and they'll be able to get in touch with us. So the other reason why we put this here is if you need to text us in the room even that day as you're putting it up, just say, hey, I'm John Doe, and I need some help in the ballroom. Please come on over. And these are our numbers.
If you text us, and Melissa was the one that said make sure you put your name in it. We found this out last year. So folks would text us immediately and they would say, hey, I need some help, but we don't recognize all of your cell phone numbers. So if you can tell us not only your name, but what room you're in, that's extremely helpful. Obviously that makes it go much smoother instead of us having to do a little detective work to back into it. The other thing about the hotel, and I'm going to go back to reservations, because if you haven't done it yet, you will be booking at the Renaissance. When you go to, say, book online, you can only book online beginning for Sunday, the 22nd. If you need to come in on Saturday, the 21st, for whatever reason and wish to do that, you have to call the hotel directly. Just FYI, we've experienced this a couple times already. So if you're booking online, as long as you're coming in on Sunday, you can do it and you're fine. But if you want to come in on Saturday for whatever reason, call direct. And the number is on the website, too. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's it. That wraps up our presentation. So if you have any questions or you need to make any comments, please feel free to put them in the chat box or your questions box. One question that did come in while we were speaking was, will there be more than one lavalier microphone if there's more than one presenter? And the answer is yes. We have situated how many presenters you have. As long as you have given me the presenters that you will have 2 or 5, then we will make the lavaliers available. If you need more of a panel setup, we'd be more than happy to get you like 2 microphones on a stand, and so we can work it out. So many folks have already handed in their AV requirements, but if they've changed or you just want to re-remind us of something you need, just please feel free to contact me and let me know, and we'll get that for you. Okay. I can't imagine our presentation was that good that there aren't any other questions, but hey, maybe we got there.
You know, if anybody has any you know, any questions, like John said, in general, whether it's content or specifics, you know, just feel free to send any one of us an email. NBOA is still a small organization. If you send it to us, you're going to get a response back, and if we answer our email, you know, you're getting us. So, you know, certainly feel free to reach out if you need anything, and especially if it gets closer. For some of you, you may be thinking about your presentation, but it's still a far enough way off that you're like, oh, I'm going to get to that, so you may not have your questions just yet. But, you know, just get in touch with us. We're happy to help.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time today. We hope we were able to answer any questions and actually just get you really excited about a fun meeting. So thank you, everyone. Oh, wait, last question before I wrap up. I just received one.
Sure.
For the laptop display connections, can you tell us what the projectors will accept? I will send out an email for that because there are a lot of different choices that were provided, and I'm not sure exactly, but that's a great question. We actually got it twice. So I will look into what type of connections we need for the projectors, HDMI, VGA, etc. So thanks for that.
Yeah, and Jen, I would say for any of you that use kind of like an Ultrabook or like a very thin, light laptop, similar to that's what I use when I present, and what I use even at my desk. You have to bring your dongles with you, because otherwise you won't be able to make the connection, because obviously on those laptops in particular, they don't have the same inputs, you know, that a kind of a standard laptop would have. So if you have your dongles, make sure you bring them.
Okay, looks good. All right, going once, going twice. All right. Well, feel free to contact us, email, text us, write us, send it to us through the app. We're here for you.
And for those of you on the phone, you can be glad you're not in the lovely state of over in Pennsylvania right now, because half the school systems in this universe have all decided to shut down. Apparently, Armageddon is upon me here. So, ice and snow galore, I guess. May we not see that in Boston.
Maybe not. Okay, well, thank you, everyone, for your time. And again, if you have any questions, let us know, and we will see you in a month. Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.